Good
Hey,
morning, Service Alliance community. How is
gotta turn my
everybody
volume
doing?
down.
You know what? I feel like I woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning.
On the wrong side?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like
I'm sorry.
I don't know why.
Well, now you're on the right side. So, because you
Yeah.
woke up, your feet are above the ground. It's gonna be a good day.
All right.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll go with that.
yeah. And you smell good because took a shower.
Yes, I
So,
did.
not that I can smell you from 4 hours away. If
Or
I did, that's. Ooh.
smell-o-vision.
Can you imagine if they actually had smell-o-vision? That would be
No,
weird.
that would be so bad.
Hmm. Yeah.
Good morning, Joe.
Hmm.
Morning, Adam. Doug's watching. Oh no.
Hello, Doug.
Hello, Doug.
It's Dougie Doug.
It's always special when we got other co-hosts watching us from
I
other
was I was
days, stalking
cooking.
us.
True. I was cooking some muffins, and I had 2 muffins in the oven, and one of the muffins says, "Man, it's hot in here." And the second muffin says, "Oh my gosh, it's a talking muffin."
Rah, rah, rah. Yeah. Uh,
Although the wrong side of bed Chicago version is scary. The wrong side of the bed in Chicago is a scary version. Yeah. Just,
that's
ask
just normal day for us, Doug.
yeah, ask the Shelton gang about the wrong side of Chicago. You don't know who the Shelton gang is? Look them up. We've got a lot of gangsters that we had in Southern Illinois. It's pretty interesting. A lot of history in Southern Illinois. Sure.
Yes, there is. I
Yeah.
went to a I went to a it's kind of like a little retreat center in Southern Illinois down by Springfield, and um it turned out they had a huge barn on the property that Al Capone used to use
Yep.
and smuggle. It was like a hideaway for him,
You got to
and they
come
got
even further south.
well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
at some point, the banjos just kind of keep me
No,
away.
that's
When I start
EJ's
hearing those banjos.
It's EJ's territory over in Kentucky. Yeah, like we're highfalutin down here. We got wineries and distilleries that are legal.
Yeah, definitely need to
So
visit for that.
probably one of our bigger gang, like moonshiner bootlegger guys was Charlie Berger, and he was the last man to ever be hung in Illinois for his crimes. And yeah, he was hung in the Franklin County Jail in Benton, Illinois. They still have a gallows that they actually recreated, and they've got it all fenced in. But yeah, the historical society there in Franklin County has got a lot of great information. But yeah, a lot of cool. We have Bloody Williamson County. I mean, there's all kinds of really interesting books about our area. So
Hmm, nice. Well,
yeah,
what are we talking about today? Implementing procedures to identify revenue opportunities. Everybody
correct.
wants more revenue.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to implement procedures.
true. But it takes the work. You got to do the work.
Yes.
Speaking of doing the work, pay the fee. If you find anything that you like out of today, be sure to pay the fee, which is simple. Just like and share this post. Go subscribe to the channels. That's it. That's how you pay the fee. Pretty simple.
Yes. We would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. You want to do the verse or you want me to do the verse?
Um, I don't care.
I'll
You
do
do
the
the
verse. You
verse.
want to do the
You do the
prayer?
verse. I'll do the prayer. Sounds
All
good.
right.
Prayer
Today.
first.
Yeah, let's open in prayer first.
It sounds like we need it today. Let's do prayer first.
Yes.
Oh God. Thank you for today. Thank you for this beautiful day. Just guide us as we talk about implementing new procedures to identify revenue opportunities in our businesses. Grant us wisdom and clarity, creativity in our efforts, and may our work honor you and lead to growth and prosperity so we can in turn do more for your name. And above all, just let people see your love through our actions. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, brother. All right. Today's verse is Proverbs 16:3.
Hmm.
Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. That's pretty important.
I have a
Dedicating your efforts to God.
I have a real problem remembering to go to God first before I commit to my plans when I should
Yeah.
be asking him for guidance to commit to his plans.
Hmm. How long you
He
been
needs
married?
to establish my plans because I'm not good at it.
How long you been married?
32 years?
Well, congratulations. We know it's not commitment issues.
No, definitely not commitment issues. All right.
Oh, crud.
Well, let's get into this whole thing,
Let's do it.
identifying revenue opportunities, but implementing procedures to identify them. I was actually working on some SOPs, and it kind of I was like, all right, next week we're going to be talking about finance stuff.
Mhm.
Revenue opportunities be a good one to talk about. But how do you
This is true.
combine a procedure for that?
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been writing SOPs just for a week now. I've got a bunch done
Man,
and
that's good.
updated. So it's for me it's timely
Yeah.
because I started realizing, how many of my SOPs, how many things changed, how many new
Mhm.
things I had to create, how many missing SOPs I had. Um,
Yeah.
and I thought, man, there's no procedure for actually sitting through a process for
Hmm.
identifying new revenue opportunities. How do you just go about doing it?
Well, let's give them a few reasons why and how. Yeah. Let's talk about that. So, what would be your first one? The first one we got down is you got to recognize untapped revenue opportunities. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
I will say from experience, before you get into another trade, you need to realize these untapped revenue opportunities in your current business. I made the mistake of listening to a business coach say, you need to be in every single area that touches a home from a service perspective. You need to be in electrical, you need to be in heating and air, you need to be in plumbing, you need to be in appliance repair, you need to be in water foundation proofing. And I'm like, yes, hurrah, hurrah. And then when it came time to put rubber to the road, I almost went bankrupt by listening to this guy.
It's funny that you say that because I was just thinking this just this past Saturday.
Yeah.
I saw a van that was all lettered, and I'll tell you what, that dude was in every freaking home service trade that I could think of except for
Yeah.
pool cleaning. And I
Well,
was like,
here's the thing.
what does this guy not do?
Here's the thing. The good advice that he gave me was that you should be in every home service type of business you could. The bad advice that he gave me is that you should be doing it now. Right? Literally said you should be jumping into these services now. For me, looking back in the electrical world, I had not hit a ceiling in the electrical service world. There's no reason I should be pushing through that ceiling and starting another trade until I'm 80 to 90%, in my opinion,
Yeah.
ready to do so, right? There was so much untapped revenue, a lot of cherry picking that I still had yet to do, right? Um, Generators, solar, even more on whole home surge protection, electrical panel. I mean, there was just so much more I could have pushed even more. So, my first tidbit of advice is before you jump into another trade, make sure you have reached every single untapped possibility in the trade you're currently in.
And make sure that your business is running flawless before
Yeah.
you do, because going into another trade is going to be a massive disruption.
Yeah, it was me and I think 1 or 2 other guys at that time, and we started heating and air. And I'm an electrician, didn't know heating and air. So guess who did all of the training and classes and certifications? Me. And guess who they expected to do all the work? Me. It's like, no, I don't have time. I've got to run a business and I've got to do electrical work. So yeah, I'll jump off my soapbox now. But if
Yeah,
you're an appliance repair company, are you doing dryer vent cleaning? Are you doing duct cleaning? Those are easy add-ons to your current service business. I would think possibly water filtration would be an easy add-on to the appliance world. I see
absolutely.
that. I see that with a lot of companies. Electricians, are you killing it with generators? If not, there's a revenue potential. Are you into solar right now? Get into solar, right? That would have been my next step, would have been getting into solar, but we got just a plethora of companies around here that are doing solar now, heating and air. We even got plumbing companies doing solar now, so yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy. Um,
So how do you identify, what you should be doing, or what the market demands?
yeah. Well, for me, I would always ask that simple question before I started turning wrenches. Hey, while I'm here, is there any other concerns that I can address for you? And they would simply I had a lot of customers would tell me, "Yeah, well, while you're here, can you take a look at this, the switch?" Or, "Hey, I was thinking about adding some lighting." I also got those other questions. "Hey, do you happen to know a good plumber? I'm having some issues with my water heater." "Oh, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do." So I would constantly listen. What are people asking me for? What are people calling our business asking for, right? And instead of me getting into the plumbing world, become an affiliate with a plumbing company, right? Or become a partner with a heating and air company. Hey, you send me work, I'm going to send you work. We can do it just that way. Or if you send me a referral, I'm going to send you $25 or $100 or 10% of whatever the invoice is, right? So there's ways that you can get into other revenue streams and partner with other companies that are doing that type of work without actually having to get into that work. Now, there's a heaviness, in my opinion, that comes with that, with those referral partners, because you got to be able to trust and like them 100% and vice versa. That's
Absolutely.
why I think networking groups like BNI, they're great for that because you have companies in there that are held accountable for their referrals, right? So if you get a bad referral, hey, Mrs. Jones was telling me that the work you did, she wasn't too happy about. What's going on with that? And that gives you an opportunity that if you don't hear back from Mrs. Jones herself, you're hearing it through another channel. So getting that customer feedback is really important as well, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So another way where you could actually check your competitors, benchmark them. Go out and research your competitors. What additional services are they providing that you're not?
Mm,
Um, Look at their websites if they're any good.
mhm.
Most usually aren't very informative
Because they
on
haven't
on
had
those
ITD
additional
web
services.
design do their website.
Yeah. But anyway, going to a plumbing company and look and see what they offer, like you mentioned, the water filtration systems
Mhm.
could be something that you consider adding. Look at different trades, you know, um electrical, plumbing, and HVAC and appliance repair are a pretty good bucket
Yeah.
that they all touch each other in some way. So I think looking at any of those trades, you might find some really easy thing that you can implement,
Yeah.
so don't maybe if you're an appliance repair company, don't only look at appliance repair companies. Look at some of those other trades, see what they're offering, and see what is a good cross fit, that you could do. And there's probably something really easy, that's an easy money grab for you.
Well, I think that leads us into our next topic, which is questions to spark creative thinking. Um, First one, what are problems that customers are facing, right? Encourage your team members, especially those who are interacting with the customers, to write down issues that customers frequently mention. Like I mentioned before, that simple question, what other concerns can I address for you while I'm here? That's a huge one, right? So, like, if you're an electrician and you notice that clients are wanting more smart home type of installations, you could explore offering more smart home solutions. Lutron Caseta is one that I got into um, the last 4 or 5 years, and I love Lutron Caseta Smart Home Solutions, and it intertwines with like the Lutron, the smart blinds that you can put on your windows. I mean, there's just so much you could do, and so that's one thing is just listen to what your customers are saying they're having struggling with. So yeah,
Absolutely. So, what other things can you tap into as far as how, I guess, how can you leverage your resources?
yeah,
So, if you're going to leverage your resources, how about your current assets? This is why you need a procedure for this whole system, this whole process.
yeah,
Okay. So, if you write all this down, you can methodically think through it in a
yeah,
logical way, and you won't forget a lot of things. You may forget a little bit, but you're not going to forget most of it if you write it down and actually make a procedure out of it. So you need to ask yourself, how can we leverage existing resources, and what are those resources? You
yeah,
have to write them down and list them. Um, I do this frequently. I was like, what do I currently have that maybe I forgot about or we don't use, things we don't use. Um, what assets, as far as, people, software, it could, talent. It could be a lot of different things that you're not using. And what can you actually, tools as well.
hmm,
Start writing all that stuff down and say, what, these are the things that we don't use. How can we start using them or get rid of them?
yeah,
Are these waste, or are they opportunities that we're kind of just not paying attention to?
yeah.
So, um, there's a
That's
lot
good.
of things like staff skills, the equipment. Um, what else? Your technicians. If you're a multi-tech operation, your technicians, get them involved in this process,
Yeah,
because you don't know what hidden abilities they may have,
yeah,
or skills, or, ideas that they have. And when you bring them in and make them part of the process, once you implement it, they're going
yeah.
to have so much more buy-in. And, because guess who's got to be in the home selling it? you
Yep.
know, if it's a revenue opportunity that they need to sell, and they've been a part of the process in developing this, they're going to be much more apt and open to implementing all of these ideas.
Yeah. I I totally agree. I think getting your team together once a month, maybe once a quarter, if not weekly, um, just to brainstorm. Hey, what are some things that you've heard from your customers? What's some of the feedback that you've been getting? And that can open up a Pandora's box of good and bad. So you got to be able to lead that, right? As the owner, but um, getting ideas from your technicians, getting buy-in for things is huge. Definitely, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, a meeting like that doesn't have to be very long either. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a brain dump. You should, don't try and solve everything in one meeting. Do a massive brain dump with everybody, and then write it down, record it. You know, it's better to record the whole thing and then have a translation or transcription done of the
yeah.
video. And then you can use AI to summarize a complete video.
Mhm.
And then you've got all your ideas written down. Every idea that was just spewed out, written down. And then you can just start saying, yes, no, yes, no. This one, there's no way that would ever work, or it was a joke. You can just start swatting the flies away, as I like to say. And then you can take that and then start writing an actual plan with it.
So that sounds like number 3 on our topic
Yes.
list. So I heard you say SWAT. So, but you did say a really good scripture in there. You didn't even notice it. Habakkuk 2 and 2. Write it down, right? Write the vision down, make it plain for all to
Mhm.
see. Anyway, yeah, preach. Developing a structured process for identifying revenue streams. That was your SWOT analysis, right? So tell us
Yep.
about SWOT.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If you have never done this in your business, it is an eye opener.
Mm,
When you really, really, sometimes it's really hard to sit there and look at 4 boxes and write a list of things,
yeah.
and we all look at our strengths, but none of us want to look at our weaknesses,
Yep.
and none of us surely want to look at our threats. But once you start writing all this down, especially when you've got help, it really opened your eyes to your business and what how strong your business is, and what opportunities you have out there for making it better.
Hmm.
So I highly suggest you do this. Do a SWOT analysis on your business, and you don't have to do it in one sitting. Sometimes some people do, but when I'm doing this for my own business, I do it on a yearly basis. When I do it, I take a week
Yeah.
because I forget a lot of things, and I'll just be thinking throughout the week. Something will pop up and I'm like, "You know what? I'm putting that down. That's a weakness."
Yep.
Or I'm putting
Yep.
that down. That's a good opportunity or a threat. Um and then you build
You know,
something out over time.
one of the things we're going to talk about in this is market research. And Doug brought up a really good question here about, all
Let me
right,
pop that up.
could a marketing guy like you help us determine what percentage of the market we have and if there is more available in one area? So is there tools online that can be used
There are,
to
but
help you?
that's usually more of a database type thing.
Mhm.
Like you guys, Jason, went with, who was it? Melissa?
Yeah, Melissa Data.
So
And
talk about that, because I think that is a better fit for what Doug's asking for.
yeah, so man, this has been years ago, but we were trying to identify how much of the market share we actually owned in our area. And it was very underwhelming at that point. We had been, um, yeah, long story short, we ended up using a company called Melissa Data. I'm sure Shana could get the information for it, but um, and what they did was they took the past 5 years of invoices that we had, and they helped to identify our like our avatar, our perfect avatar. And so it got down to, in our area, it was a 67-year-old male that had a nice primary car and a okay secondary car. Average household was about 125,000. They like to work out at the gym. Um, I mean, it was very detailed, right? So the cool thing that we was able to do with that information was we was able to take that and then identify, okay, they like to work out at a gym. So maybe we should start advertising more at local gyms. Um, so there's other areas that you can identify, like where to market and how to market. So you're not just throwing money out there, right? So yeah, it was a great program. It helped us really kind of get a good idea on our target avatar because here where we were thinking it was this person and it was actually this person and we had been marketing to the wrong person for several years. So we was able to refocus our marketing to the right person, right? So yeah,
Yeah, it
so
helps
maybe
you
you
redefine your brand voice,
yeah.
and who you're actually talking to. So,
Another
all right, go
good
to
area,
melissa.com. That's
melissadata.com. That's what it was.
It's just melissa.com.
Oh, Melissa.com. Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, it's been, gosh, 2017, 2016 since we used that company, I believe. So been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty big data company.
So
Um,
you got SWOT analysis, you got market research, and then another one is pilot programs. There's always this huge talk with, um, service agreements. Let's take that for an example. We've helped a couple of clients get started in service agreements, and the best way that you can do that is with a pilot program. When you have, let's say, you have a team of 5 or 6, maybe just take one of those and say, "Hey, we wanted to start a new pilot program with you to start a maintenance agreement." And here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. And then for 2 weeks, you're going to implement this and try to get customers involved with this. And we need your feedback every day. And for this, you're going to get a $5 bonus for every one you sell or whatever it may be, right? It's a great way to start testing a new product or a new, like I said, maintenance plan. Maybe you are wanting to get into water filtration, but not sure how to do so. So maybe get with a water filtration company and say, "Hey, we'd like to start this. How do we go about this?" Right, and get into that. But yeah, pilot programs are great for just implementing um, the new things that you're wanting to implement into your business.
yeah, test it. There's no harm in trying something, you
Hmm.
know. Educate yourself and then test it. But
Yeah,
make sure before you test something, make sure your business is running good. Make sure
yep.
you've optimized your business first. I can't
Feedback, feedback,
emphasize
feedback.
that enough.
Yep. Well, I think
Mm,
that leads us into our last part of today, which is engaging employees and customers in the process.
absolutely. Doug brings up another good point. A procedure that creates reports to evaluate our potential cancellation reports, tech KPIs, CSRs, listening to their own calls and evaluating to help close rate on the phone.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good points that we're going to cover in this part.
yeah, for sure. KPIs are important. Sorry, just
So
reading.
how do um so gather employee insights. Like I said, encourage your employees to share their observations and ideas. Frontline staff like techs often see opportunities firsthand. Um you could even have if you're in an area that you have a really good relationship with your customers,
Hmm.
you can actually form a customer advisory panel and ask them to be a part of it.
Yep.
You know, it may seem awkward to ask a customer. Your customer is actually probably going to be flattered that they're going to be able to help make your business better,
Yeah.
and improve something somewhere and be a part of it, and that you actually thought of them to be an advisor to your
Yeah.
business, even though they're not a business owner, right? So you can form these with your really loyal customers that have done business with you. They're going to know what you've done right and what you've done wrong,
Hmm.
and they're going to be a little more apt to be open with you.
Yeah.
I believe so in most cases. Um, but it's good to get that feedback. But you need enough of those people, enough of those customers to be on that panel
Yeah.
so that you can reach out, and you don't have to get together in the same room. You can just pick up the phone and talk to them one by one,
Hmm.
but make sure that you do that because that feedback can be invaluable to your
Yeah.
business.
And
And
incentivizing them.
it's one of those things where, you know, we don't see our own flaws.
Hmm.
No matter how much we look in the mirror, we can't see our own flaws, but everybody else sees them really clear. And that's what you're doing. You're opening the door. And the biggest thing is
Speaking
when
of
you
doors, is that somebody at your front door?
yes, my wife and daughter are leaving for work. Um, but
Good timing.
yeah, when you keep in mind when you open those doors and ask for that feedback, if you get negative feedback, remember this is what you asked for.
Yep.
You cannot be offended and you cannot take it personal because it's the way that they're viewing you and your company through their experience with you and your company. So if they're being open and honest and it's a net more on the negative side, just remember they're giving you what you asked for. And then it's up to you to do something with that information.
Yeah. So advisory panels from customers, and then you could also do somewhat of an advisory panel with your technicians, or
Mhm.
make incentive ideals. So let's say a technician comes in and they've got a new ideal of um, offering a new service that ends up being profitable. Make sure to offer them a bonus or recognition for bringing that. Uh, Wi-Fi thermostats, huge deal. I still use my Wi-Fi thermostat today. I love my Wi-Fi. I wish I could put every single one of my heating and air systems on Wi-Fi thermostat. But out here in our office, we're all mini split systems, so ductless systems. It's like, okay, one, two, three. We've got several of them, so it would be a little expensive right now. But that was the thing, right? Wi-Fi thermostats, um, all kinds of stuff you can think of to incentivize um, team members for bringing ideas to you if they turn out to be profitable. So, yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this up.
Oh, we got a bonus one.
I
Number
know.
5. Yeah.
So measuring success and adjusting accordingly. This goes
Bonus.
along with what Doug was talking about earlier and what I was talking about testing things out. You can't test something if you don't really benchmark it and measure it. Because how are you going to know whether it's really successful or not? Even if it's incrementally successful. You may think that something is a failure, however, it's an incremental success.
Mm,
But since you don't see massive change and massive improvements or massive money coming in, you may automatically discard it and think it's not worth it. But over time, it could bring a lot of money in.
yeah,
So, having some key performance indicators and KPIs set up to measure these things is key.
yeah,
So, establish your KPIs to measure the success of the new services and check the additional revenue that comes in. Also, I think it's good to actually track the impact it's making on your workload and your
mhm,
staff because there's got to be some balance between revenue and workload. So the reward has to outweigh the risk. So you need to make sure that you, I guess, measure multiple things here. um, and also get feedback throughout the process of doing this, what with your customers or your staff or both, and then get that feedback on a regular schedule and check-ins and do it, bi-weekly, maybe every month, bi-monthly, quarterly, whatever it takes to review the performance of your new revenue channels. um
1000%.
yeah,
I
let's
like it.
see.
The feedback loop, right? So all this comes down to your KPIs, regular feedback, and that feedback loop, just continuously getting feedback from your customers, getting feedback from your employees. It's just this continuous loop that always um, keeps you moving, keeps you going. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So develop your SOP for identifying additional revenue channels, and that wraps things up.
Yeah. I want to give a quick little shout out real quick. I got a new blog coming out tomorrow, and it kind of rolls along with some of this. And it's called Top 5 Frustrating Challenges Home Service Businesses Face. So there's a little, if you'll show that real quick. Uh, the link to the blog will be right here. Or you can just go to myofficehelp.com, click the blog tag tab. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Ugh. You know what Confucius say about that, right? Confucius
No,
say, "Man who stand on toilet is high on pot."
absolutely.
So yeah, not blog. But yeah, check that blog out. And
Make
it's
sure you check out Jason's new blob.
blob.
It's going to be a really good one.
It's going to be a great, but it's going to be a huge blob. And also,
All right,
hey,
everybody.
I'm going to put a plug in there for Mike too. You know, we talked about websites and stuff today. If it wasn't for Mike, I wouldn't be able to have a great blob. So,
I'm glad to be
Mike,
part of your blobbing
yeah,
experience.
Mike was really instrumental on helping me understand the importance of blobs and the SEO portion of blobs and how to make your blob even more SEO friendly. So when I first started writing blogs, I was like 17, 18 out of 100. And that wasn't me, by the way. That had to have been Shannon. And so now my first draft is usually around a 75 to 80. And then with the key optimization stuff in there, I'm getting in that 80 plus now out of 100, which is really awesome. So that's all thanks to Mike and Tom Harness as well for helping me understand the importance of this stuff. So anyway, go check it out.
Well,
And then hire Mike to redesign your website because you need it.
well, thank you for that. All right, everybody. We'll see
All
you
right.
next week, next Tuesday. Have a great week.
Oh my gosh. Have a great